Yo, what's good, everybody? Listen, this one right here, this is a big one. As always, make sure you drop a like on the video. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit the sub button, hit the notification bell for future notifications on One Piece content, and let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
Now, One Piece is on break this week, but that's not gonna stop us. Our minds are still going, and we just have to talk about the epicness that was chapter 1064. And I have to say, it was only a matter of time. Oda decided to show us just how much the stakes have been raised by giving us an epic battle that is Law versus Blackbeard. And let me tell you guys, it's only gonna go up from here. And this has led me to believe that the Marines, specifically Sword, is going to make some kind of power play this arc. I mean, sure, we saw the Marines basically win at Marineford, but pirates have been running this since, and we haven't seen Akainu do anything except run up his phone bills. So, getting straight into it, Law's flashback gave us an interesting picture of just how complicated the relationship between pirates and the Marines can be. Just to give you a quick example, we had characters like Corazon, who was a celestial dragon turned pirate turned marine turned undercover pirate, put on a lifelong mission by then Fleet Admiral Sengoku. We got people like X-Drake, who grew up under a pirate who was his father but was abused, so now he hates pirates, turned into a marine, then turned into an undercover pirate as revealed to us in the Wano arc. And of course, we have Law, who was raised as a pirate, but his morality was shaped by an undercover pirate marine in Corazon. So yeah, if it's anything Oda's shown us, this pirate-marine relationship, it's not just black and white. It can get pretty complicated. And what I see is all these relationships coming to a head in this arc. Now, I believe that it's only a matter of time before Sword finally goes on the offense rather than just reacting to what the pirates do. They've already done that with the Seraphim, but we're gonna start seeing some real major players in Marines start to make some real major moves against pirates. So I'm gonna hit you with a couple of points here, and the most glaring one first is that Kuzan is in the vicinity. That's right, the former Marine Admiral is in the vicinity, and he's just most recently kidnapped Pudding from Whole Cake Island and placed her in the bottom of the Saber of Zebit, right where Law and Blackbeard are fighting right now. And of course, I've seen people talk about this all over the community, but that is pretty obvious that someone that powerful, somebody who is a former Marine, doesn't really want to serve someone like Blackbeard. Sure, it's kind of made to look like that. We all know what's going on, and we know that it's only a matter of time before Kuzan betrays Blackbeard. And I personally think that Kuzan could possibly be a member of Sword lying in wait to make a move against a Yonko like Blackbeard. If Kuzan is there and this is his time to reveal himself against Blackbeard, it makes sense because it also gives him an opportunity to link up with Kobe, and this would be a major win for Sword. Next up on my list that's pretty major but also pretty obvious is Kobe. The last time we saw Kobe was just a couple of chapters ago, and Kobe was kidnapped by Blackbeard. Everybody's been asking themselves, what does Blackbeard want with Kobe? Not only that, but Law is there as well, and Kobe has some sort of history with Law due to the Rocky Port incident. The Rocky Port incident has been alluded to so much by Oda at this point that he has to give us some sort of context or give us a Rocky Port incident flashback at some point, because it's basically turning into the Rocks Pirates at this point. Also, Kobe taking part in this incident was what led to Blackbeard being able to take Hachinosu from Ochoku, or Wangji as some people like to call him. So the Rocky Port incident is super important, and I can't wait to see what happened, and I can't wait to see what types of relationships that Kobe have with both Blackbeard and Law. Let me just drop this here. If Kobe is there, I wouldn't be surprised if he helped save Pudding as well. well. Next up is a small one, but it's definitely should not be overlooked, is the fact that X Drake is missing. X Drake has a relationship with Law, and he's also a captain of Sword. Last time we saw X Drake, he was in Wano. He was getting his ass handed to him by CP0, but we know he survived, but we just don't know where he went, per Sword Rear Admiral Prince Groose. I think that the fact that we saw X Drake in communication with Captain Kobe right before he went into battle with Boa Hancock and Blackbeard was a pretty major hint at what X Drake's mission is going to be after Wano, and I wouldn't be surprised if he popped up in the midst of this battle right here, right now. Putting that to the side, I want to go ahead and talk about what Law's goals are in the One Piece world. And of course, he wants to find the One Piece, but specifically in Dressrosa, with the conversation with Sengoku, Law mentioned that he wants to find out what the letter D stands for in his name. This is something big in the forming of Law's moral compass, in the forming of Law's character, especially after talking about it in the past with Corazon. So this is big for Law. And I'm just gonna come out and say it here. I would not be surprised if Law was a part of Sword. I know that people have theorized this before, but Law is a good person. We can see that he's a good person. He's not a perfect person, but I don't think he's evil by any means. And of course, anybody whose moral compass is formed on the axis that is Corazon, I believe is definitely a good person. Law has a heart, no pun intended, and this would just make sense in according to Law's character. Corazon died protecting him and trying to help him. I would not be surprised if Law took up Corazon's life's mission. We already saw in Dressrosa that ill will towards Sengoku. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a relationship. This would not be trashed by Oda, but this would actually be poetically sweet for Oda to do. Now, we know that every good theory begins with a question, and the question that led me to this theory was, how does Oda plan to use Law going forward, or more specifically, Law's fruit? Now, we know that Law and Blackbeard are currently locked in battle, and we also know that Oda has spent at least a quarter of the New World part of this story explaining to us just how important and OP Law's fruit is, even going as far as to have Doflamingo explain things like the eternal youth surgery to us before showing us Law's awakening. Now, this definitely seems like a fruit that Blackbeard would love to get his hands on. However, Oda has also showed us that the fruit has to be in the right person's hands, or a moveset like Law's basically becomes useless if you're not, let's say, a doctor. Now, sure, Doc Q could take it. However, it was just recently revealed to us that he already has a devil fruit, and unless Blackbeard is in the business of not just taking away devil fruit powers but giving them to other people, I think is a question for another video. Hint, hint. Nah, but seriously, this eternal youth surgery thing has to be paid off, I think, and most of the fan base has usually speculated that at some point Luffy will die and Law will be there to save Luffy's life once again. And while I'm not completely against that, I just don't see Oda using that again. Law's already saved Luffy's life once. Luffy's paid him back by beating Doflamingo, and I just don't see Oda going down that road again. But recent circumstances in the manga have actually presented me with a new reason as to why Law could use the eternal youth surgery. Before we get into that, I'm gonna do a quick recap of all the facts that we know so far. Okay, so we know that Kobe, who is a captain of Sword, is now kidnapped by Blackbeard. We know that Drake, who is also a member of Sword and a childhood connection to Law, is now missing post Wano. We know that Kuzan, who was once a Marine Admiral but now a member of the Blackbeard Pirates, has just finished a mission in Whole Cake Island and is now somewhere in the vicinity of the current battle. And before you say, oh, that was a long time ago, listen, we've seen Kuzan move across the ocean. It's not fast. My guess is he's somewhere in the vicinity. And Law, who was a former warlord and the wielder of the Opi Opi no Mi, who was also raised by a former Marine turned undercover pirate who gave his life to protect Law on a secret mission given to him by the Marine Fleet Admiral. admiral. So we see the chess pieces being gathered, and I think we have enough evidence and personnel here to make an inference that Sword has enough people here to launch an offensive on the pirate world. Up until this point, we've only seen Sword in bits and pieces all over the world as they try to react to what the pirates do. But now, a lot of members of Sword and Marine affiliates are here gathered in one place, and their opponent is none other than the Blackbeard pirates, a group of all overpowered devil fruit users. This can make for an interesting stalemate because we know that Blackbeard won't be defeated here, but this is an opportunity for Oda to show us just what Sword is about by launching an attack on a Yonko crew. Now, I'll take it a step further and present you guys with a question. What if Law were to lose this battle and Kuzan was to step in and save him? Not just exposing himself as an undercover Marine, but the Admiral of Sword. And if that's not good enough, what if Kobe were to step in and or die at the hands of Blackbeard in this arc, and Law used the Eternal Youth Surgery to save Kobe's life, showing us that Law is in fact a good person and that all the time being raised by Corazon actually did make a huge impact on him. Not only that, but Luffy's observation haki is so advanced that he can tell when people are good and bad. This was explained to us verbatim by Luffy on Luscaina when he was training with Rayleigh. So Law is not a bad person. Luffy knows that. The possibilities are endless of what this arc can bring us, and of course, with all the members of Sword and potential members of Sword being in one place, I think all these characters, Kuzan, Kobe, Law, even Blackbeard, I think they all have a relationship that we just can't ignore. We can't ignore the Rocky Port incident, and I think this is leading to something major in the next 2, maybe 3 chapters. But let me know what you think as always. Is this a good theory? Is this a bad theory? Is Law and Kuzan a part of Sword? Let me know below. Of course, if you like this theory, make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. Stay safe, stay healthy. This has been Sifu That Guy talking, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.